Hi guys and welcome back to the channel. Today I've got the tank review for the brand new Tier 8 Swedish Premium Heavy tank, the Tornvagn. And yeah, this is the other new black tank that they've released on for Black Friday. And yeah, it's a funny one, right? Because, well, number one, it looks funny. Just look at the way it looks with that weird ass turret. But the other thing is, it's very good hull down, because this turret front is very, very good. But take it out of being hull down, and the tank's not great. It can side scrape decently enough, but people can catch you in these little cheeks here. Well, you'll see when we get to the arm model. People can catch you on the cheeks and stuff. It does have side scrape pretty well with it, but for the most part, people will pen the lower plate like Swiss cheese. If you're against tier 9s and 10s, they pen the whole upper front plate like Swiss cheese, especially if they're firing premium. And even when you're hull down, even though this turret is absolutely fantastic, if you're against tier 9s and 10s and they fire premium, they will just wreck the turret front if they're firing like 310mm plus pen, essentially. The other thing is, it's also an artillery magnet. This engine deck is massive and gets slapped by it a lot, same as this front end as well. You take a lot of damage from artillery. It's also incredibly slow, and the gun handling is terrible. So, on the whole, the best way to describe this tank is the American T-34 Premium Heavy tank. A lot of people have that tank from the old Twitch Prime bundle that they did a long time ago now. But a lot of people have the tank from that. It's also an old premium. This is like the new age version of that tank, because it's pretty slow and lethargic. It's got a gun that can be a bit derpy, although this gun is far derpier than the T-34s. It has pretty great pen, it has a slapping alpha of 400, and the turret front is pretty damn solid until you're facing the premium of tier 10s. So you basically go to a ridgeline, get hull down, have fun, and then when the game's progressed from that ridgeline, you don't have fun anymore because you've stopped and you've got to go really slowly, essentially. So on the whole, is it worth it? Initial thoughts? I'm not too sure. It is worth 7,000 gold. If you do like the American T-34, you probably will like this tank, but I just think for heavy tanks at tier 8, there is far better out there. I think the American T-34 is actually better than this tank. While the T-34 has a worse upper plate, than this tank, it also just has better gun handling and it's just as good on a ridgeline. And a lot of people probably already own it as well. I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of this tank just because it's slow and the gun handling's bad, and it's just a one-trick pony, right? If you get it into a hull-down position, it's almost like the immovable object. But once you take it out the hull-down position, you get round it, you flank it, it just goes downhill. Derp guns will absolutely love your side and rear, by the way. If a tank has, like, 80 pen on its derp, like a lot of derp shells do, they'll have, like, 86, because it's only 50mm of side armour, and on the rear, you'll get penned in the sides. So you've just got to be careful of all that as well. Storm Tigers like it. I've been one-shot by Storm Tigers today. It's not fun. So, let's get into the stats of the Tornvagn. So, on the Tornvagn, as you can see, we have a 500 horsepower engine with a 32km round top speed, 12 kilometers an hour reverse speed. 12 kilometers an hour reverse speed is very slow. 11.63 horsepower per ton ratio is also not very good. It hits 32, but it's kind of sluggish and slow to it. It's a very sluggish and slow tank. And I would say that it'd probably be a good idea to take the powertrain if it wasn't for the fact that it needs the rammer, it needs the vert stabs, and it needs the optics. You just can't put anything for mobility on it to sacrifice the other things that it should be good at. So it's got a 1600 HP, which is pretty good for a tier 8 heavy. That's fine. 22 degrees a second hull traverse speed, by the way, is dreadful. That is awful. You probably want to take something like clutch braking. You might want to take something like off-road driving to help these ground resistances. But actually, you probably want to take clutch braking to try and just get this better, because it's dreadful. It's so slow. If any light tank or anything gets round you, they have a great time because they can just get round you really easily and can circle you with impunity, and you'll just really struggle to keep up and struggle to even be able to deal with them. You've got, well, concealment doesn't matter because it's a heavy tank. You've got 360 meters of view range, which is blind. The tank is blind. You need optics to get the view range up, because otherwise you are blind as a bat. You get easily outspotted if you're in the open, if you're driving across a field, anything. If you're trying to get to positions, you will get outspotted and you will get shot up, and it will be really easy farm for the enemy team. The 360 meters view range is so low. It's almost Soviet-esque. It's pretty poor. You've got 22 degrees a second traverse speed on the turret, which again is very slow. Luckily, not exactly the same as the hull, so you don't have that problem of the hull out traversing the turret, but still 22 degrees a second is very, very slow on the turret traverse, and it will be very frustrating in that way. Accuracy during rotation is also a huge 2.42. That is massive. So you turn the tank, you turn the turret, it just blooms out so much. And yeah, the gun handling really doesn't feel great, and it really is very unhelpful in that way. You've got a 10 degrees of gun depression, which helps it be that god on a ridgeline. 10 degrees of gun depression is fantastic. It really is really good on a ridgeline. I'd say the only time it struggles is when it's against tier 10 premium spam and tier 9 premium spam. You've got a 15-second reload, which is slow. We can get that down to about 10.5, I think it is, which is still slow, but there's a lot of tanks with 400 at the tier that have around that reload, so it's not too bad. It's just you do feel how slow the reload is, with how slow the tank is, with how derpy the gun is. As a package, it just can feel a bit frustrating when you do miss those shots. You've got 0.44 accuracy, which is horrific. Again, Soviet-esque. 0.44 accuracy is just not good. And when you're firing at range, you feel the accuracy of this tank really badly. It is just not great. You've got a 2.3 second aim time, which is okay. It's not the worst, not the best. It's just sort of okay. It's probably the only okay thing of the gun handling is the aim time being alright. The accuracy is what kills it at range. And, I mean, even at close range, the amount of times you're like, oh, I'm going to hit this lower plate and it just flies up and hits the upper plate or flies underneath the tank is so annoying. So, yeah. Like I say, you've got 1600 damage per minute, because obviously you fire 4 rounds per minute with 400 alpha, which is slow, and a lot of the games that go quickly, this will really pass this tank by, especially with how slow the tank actually is. You've got 248 pen on the APCR standard, which is solid. That is really great penetration for a tier 8 heavy. 297 premium penetration on the premium APCR, again, fantastic. You will pen everything you're going to face with that, which has 1,000 meters a second shell velocity on the standard APCR, which is slow for APCR, but it's pretty good. It's still pretty solid, really. And 1450 on the premium APCR, which is absolutely fantastic. Again, it's one of those tanks that you can see people who buy it just spamming the 297 prem because it's got the good pen and the fantastic shell velocity, which does make a difference with hitting tanks, and you will feel that difference. I wish that the standard APCR was 1450 and the premium APCR was 1000, so that you had some sort of drawback to the premium without the premium round just being flat out better, which it is. That shell velocity does feel slow, but like I said, the 1450 is great. You get 150% silver bonus as well, which is pretty standard for premium tanks at tier 8, with 175% tank XP bonus, which is the black tank exclusive thing as well. So it makes really great XP, which kind of helps with crew training and stuff like that. So, in terms of equipment on the Tornvagn, I take rammer, vert stabs, and optics. And that is because you want to make DPM 10% better. You want to make your accuracy 20% better because it is horrific. And you want to also make your view range just better because your view range is horrific in this tank. And it's just... It needs to get better, generally. 360 is so bad. And then once you put the food and stuff on, also food is a big bonus for it. I have been set on fire once or twice in this tank, but food is a big bonus for this tank because it really helps you with the accuracy and the DPM and the view range as well. It gives you all that necessary boost. So in terms of a crew, I think I put it in the Emil 1951, did I? Yes, I did. So on the crew for the Tornvagn, I have been running Born Leader, Rapid Reload, Sixth Sense, Situational Awareness, Track Mechanic, Off-Road Driving, Run and Gun, Snapshot, Steady Aim. The gun perks because you want to make this gun as good as possible because it's horrendous. Off-Road Driving because I wanted to help the mobility of the tank as much as possible, but to be honest, I'm now more thinking I should take Clutch Braking because that track traverse is just utterly dreadful. It's either that or take Rapid Aim just to make the turret traverse better because the turret traverse is also poor. So it's down to you what you want to take. Like I say, I always say in these reviews, these are base sort of a base take, really. You know, take these skills for your first set of skills for the tank, play the tank and think, oh no, that's horrific, I want to make the track traverse better, or no, that's horrific, I really want to make the turret traverse better. Or you could take Iron Mace to make the, because it's both rounds of APCR, to just keep pen over distance. You know, it's up to you, really. It's down to your personal preference. So let's have a quick look at what the tank has in terms of stats after we put the crew in. Well, in terms of the stats, you can see we've got 23.89 degrees a second on turret rotation now, which is still pretty bad. The accuracy during rotation has gone down to 1.46, which is still pretty damn awful, but it's not the horrificness it was before. That is what Vertstabs does for you with the 20% accuracy buff. 0.29 accuracy as well is great. It is a lot. It's far better than 0.44, but it still feels derpy for sure. But it's definitely a hell of a lot better. 2.12 aim time instead of 2.3 as well, which is fine. 10.94 second reload instead of the 15 is definitely a lot better, which is why you want to run the rammer, why you want Born Leader, why you want rapid reload, why you want... I've run out of things to say there. Yeah, why you want the rammer, rapid reload, and Born Leader, and food. That's the other one I was thinking of. Just to make it better. And obviously, if you boost with reload with food, that is like 10.5 seconds, 10.4 seconds, something like that. You've got 461 meters view range as well, which is what you get up to with optics and situational awareness with Born Leader as well, which is, you know, it's decent. It's at least not, it's above the 445 cap, but you still do get outspotted a hell of a lot because obviously your camo is terrible and your view range is a lot lower than a lot of tanks you will face. So yeah, let's have a look at, that's the other point. Let's have a look at the armor model of the tank. The armor model of the tank is exactly the same as on PC. So let's have a quick looky-loo at the model of it on TanksGG. As you can see, this upper area of the turret is absolutely godlike. Look at that, 350 to 420. It gets worse when you're looking at the next to the gun, which is 292. And I say it gets worse, right? 290, 292, 280 in some areas. If you're shooting directly under the gun, it's, what, 302? That's why I mean that this tank is absolutely godlike when it's hull down, until they fire premium. And even this tank firing premium, it has a 75% chance to go through that bit right next to the gun on the right and left of it. Or shooting through it, it's got a 39% chance. So it can do it, and that's 297 penetration. If you people switch to 340, 330, 320, 310, whatever it is at tier 9 and 10, they will butcher the turret, and that is the only strong point of the tank, which is, you know, kind of annoying as it is. As you can see, the upper plate is an auto ricochet angle for a lot of tanks, so that's fine, and you will bounce a lot off that upper plate, which really helps it again when it goes hull down. And the upper plate actually has a lower upper plate as well. So it's got this upper plate here, which is 262, which is, again, you'll bounce most shots from a lot of tanks until people fire premium against you. And then you've got this lower plate, which is absolutely terrible, but it's designed to be hull down, so that is the weak spot of the tank. These cheeks here, when you are side scraping, if people have 260 pen or more, again, if you're side scraping, they will catch this and they will pen it. And that is absolute pain when they do that, because you're like, aha, you're ricocheting pen. Aha, pen. You know, you just got to be careful of that. This here, this little lip, can be a weak spot if people are firing heat. Because APCR will the angle on this, APCR will ricochet. But I've had people fire premium, well, fire heat, and they've managed to hit this and pen it, so you've got to be careful of that. Also, this little lip at the back can catch shots as well. You just got to be very, very careful. As soon as you over-angle, if you're wiggling like this, as soon as you over-angle ever so slightly, you go like that, people can pen and track you really easily as well, which is pain. But if you are hull down on a ridgeline using the full 10 degrees of gun depression, like you can see, you know, if this is looking at you, there's very little chance you're going through this, but you've got to be careful because people can pen you here if they have that high pen round. But really, this tank is just get on a ridgeline and laugh, essentially. Get on a ridgeline, laugh, and then once the fight has progressed from that ridgeline, you are basically useless because you're far too slow to get anywhere, and your gun handling is terrible for shooting at range. But it does excel in those brawling situations. So as always, everybody, I'm going to send you over to the replays where you can watch the tank. You can decide how you think it looks. You can look at the gameplay and think, oh, you know what, actually that tank does look too slow. You know, I don't like the looks of that. Or you can watch it and go, you know what, actually I quite like the looks of this tank. You know, I like the American T-34. I'll give this tank a bash. It's definitely, especially at 7,000 gold, I believe it is, which is pretty decent. Yeah, 7,000 gold. Pretty decent price for it, for a tier 8 heavy. But also in the store is the T-32A Proto, which recently got buffed to its turret and its upper plate armor, and that tank is absolutely fantastic now. So that's probably a better deal than the Tornvagn, because again, it does the same thing as the Tornvagn, get hull down, be a god, but it's actually got better mobility, it's got better gun handling, it's got better DPM near enough. It's just a great tank overall compared to this one. Better all-rounder. So as always, everybody, I'll see you in the replays. So here we are in the replays with the Tornvagn, and we are on Lakeville. So because this tank is so good hull down, but not very good at anything else, what I want to do is take it down this valley path right here, because I can get hull down, and I can use the pretty good alpha and the absolutely fantastic turret armor to use the ridgeline, pull back, spend my time reloading. I can pull up, use block damage with the armor, fire again. And that's what we're going to do with this. I did try to get replays for tier 10s, but I had 5 games out of the 17 games I played in this tank. 5 games. 4 of them I got one shot by artillery. The pain today. 2 to 3 RT every game. Oh, it's horrible. Anyway, as you see in 2 games in 2 RT in this one. 4 of them I got one shot by RT after firing like 2 shots. So what was the point in showing the replay? And the 5th one, I basically went to a flank, saw a T-57 heavy, went, oh, hello, Mr. T-57 heavy. And he went, oh, hello, sir. I hear you have the perfect amount of hit points for my clip. Drove around and killed me. So it is what it is. So there is no tier 10 replays, unfortunately, but basically it is exactly like I've lined it out in the Tanks GG armor stats. Tier 10's firing premium will destroy your turret, but for the most part, the only strength of the tank is going hull down, so you want to still try to do it anyway. And these replays will show off what the tank can do, which is, you know, get hull down, slap, and if anything decides to try and flank you, it's not going to go too well. In fact, I got one shot by 3 times, and a Sturm Tiger snuck up on me and one shot me through the side. That was a fun time as well. It's always fun when a Sturm Tiger appears and gives you a jolly good rogering, isn't it? Yes. So anyway, this game, Lakeville, this is probably the more average game that I've had in the tank. Probably actually slightly better than average, really, but it is what it is. It's basically, we've got ourselves into a hull down position. We pushed a little bit too aggressively, though, because I came through here attacking the ISU and thought, oh, there's no one here. This is surprising, because I'm slow, right? It takes me time to get here. There's no one here, so you know what? I'm going to push through, push to this rock ridge line here that I'm at, and get some shots into the ISU and go hull down against him and then progress the fight, because I was fearing that most people have gone towards the cap, therefore I'd have to spend time driving, and I didn't want to do that, so I exposed myself to get round, and found that the Tornvagn and the 53 TP were just late to the party, and it's like, oh god, here we go. And fortunately for me, that 45 TP, 53 TP, the tier 8, had the stock 122, so the one with 175 pen, and was firing HE, which has really low pen. Actually, less than a 50 pen to pen my ass. Unfortunately enough, he bounced, or he did like 150 damage, so I survived. I got really lucky that that guy didn't kill me, but it is what it is. Our friends managed to catch up with us, help us out, and we managed to get through that battle. Really, what you were looking out for there was the battle with the Tornvagn. You could see what happened. I got myself into a position where, in the end, I was hull down, and he couldn't see my lower plate. He could just see my upper plate and my turret, and I could see his lower plate, and I just destroyed it very, very quickly. And with the reload on this tank being so poor, with the DPM being so poor, and with the same tank, it didn't really matter, because I could just keep putting shots in, stay hull down, and hope that he was going to bounce, essentially. So unfortunately, we missed a shot there on the Barask, which we actually ended up tracking him, though, so we'll take it. There's one tank left. It is artillery. Pretty damn quick game. We've managed 3.5k damage. Hopefully we'll get the shot on this artillery. Can't quite see him. It's like, oh, there's his front. And we shut down the M40-43. And we finished the game with 3.5k damage, 1,200 assistance, the epic victory, 3 kills. the spot medal for bouncing shots when we're in low health. This sniper medal, 1649 base XP with a second class. Decent game for the Tornvagn. Sort of shows what it can do when it gets hauled down, and also shows you what happens when the tank gets caught out in the open and it's there for people to shoot at. As soon as you're out in the open and you're not in that habitat of being hauled down, the tank just loses health very, very, very quickly. And unfortunately, because it's slow, when you make those maneuvers, and it's probably something I've been guilty of, and you'll probably see it in these replays, when I've decided, okay, I need to progress to the next area to get safer, the tank's slow, so you end up taking a hit or two while trying to progress to be safer and in a better position. And you are going to see it in this replay as well, as you see in 3 artillery. It's been one of them days. As you see in the 3 artillery. So we're going to end up going up here to the G4 spot, where it's pretty good to go hull down. You can shoot the people that go across the 2 line, but when we get there, it's like, oh god, there's 3 arty actually. I can't stay here, because as soon as they start to look at me, I'm doomed. I have to move forward, and you know, you end up taking a hit or two. But with the Tornvagn, you're just seeing how slow it is, really, with going up. I mean, think about the amount of maps you're going to see where you're going uphill, and you're going to have to progress to get to these positions. If they had faster tanks on their team, they would get there so much quicker than we would. But thankfully, in this game, we are facing against stuff like VK 16801Ps, the unskinned Mauerbrecher, and tanks like that are just a little bit slower, so we managed to get to this position first. Plus, a lot of the time as well, when you are playing this map, people will just stop exactly where the Mauerbrecher has stopped. People will just stop on that corner and not progress any further, and that can be death for your team as well if you do that on this map. If you're on this map, you're best to progress. Get to the G4 location for both teams. Get to the G4 position and fight over this ridgeline and area, because if you stop round the corners, you end up being ensnared and can get circled really easily, and it's not good for you. So right here, it's where I went, oh god, artillery is a problem, 3 RE, I cannot stay here. So, oh, that hits the dirt, okay. So we had the full lower plate of that T-32, and unfortunately we hit the dirt, and what I'm going to keep doing here is a mistake, really, and that is we're just going to keep pulling round to put some shots in. Fortunately enough, they all bounce off my upper plate, which is nice, but now we are side scraping out against this ISU. I'm just looking for the shot into his side there, beyond the tracks of that guy. Unfortunately enough, we get it in, because we want to get rid of that ISU, because that guy will be the death of us. A bit of foreshadowing there. That guy will be the death of us. He has a big-ass gun, right? And it hurts when that big-ass gun pens. So we've just got to be careful of that and hopefully try and get him out of the game. So we just look for a shot into the lower plate, the VK 16801P, we'll get the name right. And unfortunately, that one bounces. I'm not quite sure how. A little bit frustrated with that bounce. I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm going to try and put the pressure on this T-32, because we've got guys going around the other side. I want to try and pressure this. And unfortunately, the Mauerbrecher manages to track and pen us. And then the T-32 manages to pen us, so we lose some hit points. I stay out to try and get a shot again into the lower plate of the Mauerbrecher, because he's never exposing it. And he manages to tag us again. Bad play there. Waste of hit points. And unfortunately, that puts us down to a one-shot for him, and a one-shot for a lot of tanks. So we're just side-scraping, it's looking, it's going, can I get the shot into the lower plate of the T-32? Yes, I can. Thankfully, he was distracted by the guys that had gone around the other side of the rock, and we managed to shut that guy down. Again, we're side-scraping here. We managed to bounce the 16801P off our side, which is nice. Like I say, this tank's pretty decent at side-scraping as well, as long as they don't catch you in those little shoulders. You really do have to be careful of that, because those shoulders can be the death of you. Fortunately enough, I think that Mauerbrecher actually hit us in the shoulders, but with his 220 pen, he doesn't have enough pen to go through them. So right now I'm thinking, what do I do? I'm detected. That's not a tank destroyer back there. That's got to be artillery. Oh, what do I do? You know what? I'm going to try and pull back and get my ass into the rocks. A bit of indecision there cost us a little bit of hit points, to be fair. He didn't hit us for much, hit us for like 2. It's like, okay, sure. We managed to RBRT the shot into the T-21 to get rid of that pesky little light tank. And now we're going to move up to try and help this AT-15 against the TD and heavy tanks over here. Then he gets penned by the ISU-152, poor guy. Say, big hits. We try and get the shot into the ISU's hull there, and unfortunately it just goes above his hull and misses. We're just going to... This IS-3's hull down, so we're going to try and side scrape off of the IS-3 to help our armour as well, because we want to be where this IS-3 is, but it's perfect for both of us, actually. And we managed to get a nice shot into the Shashka, set him on fire. We get a shot into the Mauerbrecker's cupola, which pens him, and the IS-3 thankfully shuts him down. Then the artillery starts hitting us, and it's like, wait a minute, how did that hit me? It's a Burt. It's an FV-304, so that guy's going to start firing and keep going and going and going, and it's not going to end well for us. So what we're going to try and do is manoeuvre this AT-15 for us to try and have some cover against the ISU. We aim for the outside of the ISU's gun, and unfortunately it ricochets. That's a really unfortunate ricochet. If it just gone a bit further right, it would have penned him like we had earlier on, but it misses. He's trying to get beyond that guy, but we managed to pen the ISU. We're just trying to side scrape it, hoping that it won't pen us, but unfortunately he manages to slam the shot straight through our side, which naturally, because we have 50mm of side armour, his 152 can overmatch us, so it is what it is. We're finished with the high caliber, the first class, 4.1k damage, 334 assistance, 1707 base XP. A nice game for the Tornvagn there, and that is the other thing I did forget to say about the armour if you are side scraping. I didn't really think about it at the time, and I've just thought about it now. We have 50mm of side armour, so 151mm caliber guns can overmatch our side and pen it, which is definitely a problem. And I didn't think about that at the time, which cost me in the end, which is kind of sad, but it is what it is. We're on to the third and final replay of the video, and this one we're on El Halouf. And El Halouf should be a pretty decent map for us, really, because we can go get hull down at C2, and we can put shots out left, right and centre, which should be quite nice, hopefully. As long as the enemy team attacks that A2, A1 position, because for some reason people haven't been recently. You go there and you're like, wait, why is there only 2 tanks here? And they're all sitting at like D7, and you're like, why? Why is this a thing? And as you can see, my team is also doing it at H4J4. I don't get why all of a sudden out of the blue this is starting to happen, where everyone just sort of goes and sits in these locations and then doesn't really fight the parts of the map that you need to fight. Kind of weird. And yeah, in this game as well, there is no artillery. Yay! Woohoo! Which means that we can actually go get hull down and not suffer the fun police, which is going to be great, because, yeah, the amount of times I've played this tank and had to face artillery, and then I'm like, yay, I'm hull down. Oh, no, I'm getting pooped on anyway. It has been a lot today. And, yeah, this tank doesn't stand up very well at all to artillery because of the fact that the engine deck is so big and it's so little armour on it, so that, you know, you get slapped up a lot. So what we're going to do, because there is no artillery in this game, I'm actually going to take the position on the left of here so that I can get hull down and try and shoot the people that might be coming up the B line. But actually, you can see where our light tank is. There's not really anyone coming up that way. So we might be okay. And I can also take the position on the left and shoot the people that are coming around the corner at A2, which is quite nice, generally. And as you can see, because this tank is so slow, we did miss a couple of tanks that were crossing the A line, which is kind of sad, but it is what it is. So we try and get a shot into the Centennial there, and I'm like, actually, there doesn't seem to be much crossing. And just as I decide, you know, there doesn't seem to be much happening, the Tiger 1 pops round, gets a shot at us, but fortunately enough, he bounces. So we get a nice shot into him on the move as well for 412, which is pretty good. So this Caro's just fired. It's like, well, Mr. Caro, I want to get rid of you, because all I want to do is tuck in to this ridge on the right. I want to tuck in there to start getting shots, but I can't do it with this guy here. So you know what? I've decided I'm going to bleed some hit points just to make sure I try and get rid of this guy. We pop a nice shot into his track there to track him in place and pen him, put him down to a one-shot, and I'm kind of hoping someone somewhere will pop a shot in to shut him down. But looks like it's down to me. So we managed to pop round the corner and shoot him in the face and shut him down. Unfortunately, he did track us and pen us again, but it is what it is, we'll take it. Now we can go and attack this ISM, who, with our penetration, we're going to easily take apart. We get a nice shot into his lower plate, which is great. 248 pen or whatever this tank has is going to easily deal with this guy, which is very nice thing. You know, we don't have the 226 pen where we really have to hit the lower plate. Unfortunately, that shot, I mean, we were on the move, that shot derps into the floor, which is really unfortunate, but it's like, okay, you know what, again, I don't have to hit the lower plate, I can actually hit the upper plate, the ISM, to pen it as well with my good pen, and we're going to drive round behind these guys that are attacking the A-line. It's like, hello, Mr. Centennial, I have the Alpha to finish you off, and goodbye. Just waiting for the reload again to be able to poke forward and shoot the AMX-65T, making sure we're not pulling back too far behind us, so that the guy, the TD that was spotted, doesn't shoot us. We get a nice shot into the side of the 65T, and he's getting now farmed by the team. We're just going to chase after him and go round, because I want to go around this way to attack the team, of the enemy team, sorry, that is probably camping somewhere over here. We get detected as we put around that corner, which makes me think that that TD is still definitely sat at D7 and poking around that corner. So we've got to be careful when we're going round, because he could quite easily get a shot into our side, which won't be good. And, well, we'll die very quickly, and that won't be fun, will it? So we're just going to keep going. We see the Black Prince and the Jagdpanther get spotted. I'm thinking, right, okay, I could either attack this ISU, which was spotted there at D7, or I can attack these guys. Go hull down on this little ridge over here and get shots at them. Fortunately enough for us, and unfortunately for the SU-130PM, we now know that the ISU-152 has fired. So we're safe from that guy, so it's like, okay, now I can move forward, now we're okay. So we're going to pull forward through here, see if we can get a shot at this Black Prince, but he's actually hulled down. And it's like, okay, and then we get a shot, and it's like, what? What shot me there? Okay, that didn't get spotted. It's literally just in those bushes there. Okay, we're going to wait for the shell tracer, because it seems to be low caliber, so I seem to be bouncing it. We try and pop a blind shot, but it doesn't go in. Then we miss that shot. We just need to actually literally aim a little bit lower to the left. But, yeah, we're still bouncing it. Then we bounce it again, but it ends up coming from a different direction. We try and get a shot at the Black Prince, fail. Then we get absolutely slapped by, I think, the SU-130PM from the back. And that is pretty much all of our hit points gone, just like that. Just because we got a little bit frustrated, we're trying to find a shot of that Black Prince. And it's like, God damn it, okay. Right, what we're going to do is we're going to poke around this corner and see if we can get attacking the ISU. But actually, just as we do it, the Black Prince pulls up. And it's like, whoa, sir, what is going off? Like, I was expecting the Black Prince to stay hull down in that position he was in. I didn't expect him to charge forward. But fortunately enough for us, he missed. And now we can just use our great penetration to good effect against this little tier 7 heavy. And we're just pulling back to try our best to make sure that our DPM doesn't hinder us. Then we facehug him, because if we facehug him, the Black Prince is never going to pen us in a million years. Fortunately, the ISU can't find a shot at us, so now we're going to go try and get rid of this ISU. We know that the TD was spotted somewhere like D0, so I might be able to attack this ISU without getting shot at, and the medium is probably the thing that was shooting at me unspotted earlier on. So we're going to put around this corner. This ISU is a one-shot for us, as you can see, 359, unless we low roll like mad, and we're just we actually penned that sector outside of his gun, the one that we bounced off in the last game. So thank God we penned that. We finished the ISU down. We shut the ISU down and finish him off. So now we know that there's two tier 7 tanks. There's the Jagdpanther and the VK3002D. They're both over there behind that rock. So what we're going to do is we're going to close the gap. Now I know the Jagdpanther could pen me in the side. It could pen me in the lower plate. The VK3002D has already proved he can pen me in the lower plate, but it's a low chance for him to do it, and I can definitely pen both of them quite easily. So I want to get to this ridge over here, get a hull down, and start trying to work them over with my non-existent DPM. And now we get hull down. It's like, hello, sir, just let me get a nice shot at you. We slap the shot straight into the 3002D's turret, low roll like mad. 326 is a big low roll. And here we're going to make a few mistakes. We're trying to get some shots into this guy, but the ridge line is just being a little bit awkward. The shot goes to the left. Instead of hitting the upper plate, the Jagdpanther hits his track and tracks him in place, which is sad. I have to be really careful because obviously I don't have the hit points. The 3002D tracks us, which we're going to repair the pull back so we're not overhanging. Waiting for the relay to go in. I really want to shut this guy down. He manages to pen us, then we ricochet off his turret, and then he gets shut down by the Dreadnought, and we don't get to reload to shut the Jagdpanther down. Sad times. Bit of a derpy gun and a bit of a misplay, but it is what it is. Finished with the victory. 5 kills, so it would have been a top gun as well. 4.2k damage, the first class. 1973 base XP, which is really high for a first class, not an ace. But it is what it is. So, yeah, the Tornvagn. If you like the American Tier 8 Premium Heavy Tank, you'll probably like this tank. But to be honest, it's slow outside of being... It's really slow. The gun's really derpy. It's only really good at being hull down. So as always, everybody, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.